Hi, my name is Sarah. I was at Tanglin from year 12 to 13, and I graduated in 2016. I then went on to study fashion in Arts University Bournemouth, and I graduated with a degree in fashion design just last year. In this video, I'll be talking about why I chose fashion, the university process and university preparation, my university experience, and my brief journey out of uni, and any tips and tricks I have for you guys who are thinking of doing any design related degree. So I chose fashion because since I can remember, I've always loved fashion, I've always loved clothes, and I did textiles in GCSE when I was at school in Jakarta. And then when I came to Tanglin, textiles was opted as a subject, so I did visual arts, which I then took at higher level in IB. My art teachers, Miss Gould and Miss Coulson, were very understanding and motivating and patient, and helped me tailor my studio work in IB to showcase my love for fashion in the best way possible. For example, I made a headpiece for one of my projects, and I also demonstrated my sewing skills in one of my pieces where I did an embroidered self-portrait. For me, it was all about thinking out of the box and finding interesting and unique mediums to express my love for fashion in the IB higher level art course. I also worked very closely with my teachers to express my love for fashion and incorporate it as best I can into my extended essay. This also offered me great insight into fashion history, which then greatly helped me in my degree later on. I was still worried, however, that I wasn't doing enough design work and I wasn't sewing and working with fabric, so I opted to do a course at LaSalle on Saturdays, where I learned how to use an industrial sewing machine and pattern cut. I did this alongside IB, and although it was very stressful to juggle both IB and this, it was very rewarding, and it really helped me get all my skills down before university. So when it came to applying to universities, I knew I wanted to be in the UK, and I knew I wanted to do a fashion design course. I applied to 5 universities in UCAS, and I also applied separately to the UAL schools on top of that. Miss Gould and Miss Coulson, my art teachers, were very kind and helped me with my portfolio and all of my interviews, and I felt very supported. Arts University Bournemouth fell into my lap by chance, really, and it was when I visited the university with my parents the summer before that I realized that I loved the university. I definitely recommend choosing a university that sits well with you and that you feel comfortable in, because especially with courses like fashion or any studio related course, you will be spending a lot of your time in the university because you can't really take your work home. So for me, it had to be an environment that I could picture myself in. It had to be somewhere I felt comfortable in, and just somewhere that you can see yourself working all the time. I was definitely torn between being in London, you know, a city, one of the fashion capitals of the world, and being in a smaller town. But I knew that I wanted to be in a campus, and I knew that I wanted to get to know my lecturers, and I didn't want to be in a pool of hundreds of students. So that definitely helped me decide to choose Bournemouth. With my university experience, I'm definitely not gonna sugarcoat it and say that it was all fun, because it was a lot of hard work. The majority of my time was spent at university, working on my degree and sewing. In the first year, it's definitely about experimenting and learning as many processes as you can. I recommend trying and experimenting with everything. Go to the dye room, embroider, print, knit, and weave. After the first year, you get to choose which pathway you want to go into, whether it's design or styling or marketing, and I chose design. So in your second year, it is very much about putting all the things that you learned in the previous years to the test, and to create more, to design more, and to make more, basically. At the end of the second year, there was an option of going on internship or staying at university to do the live project, where a brand would come in and you would basically do a project for them with a prize at the end. I opted to go on internship in this term, and I landed one in London at Roxanda. I was there for about 4 months and I absolutely loved it. I highly recommend going on internship, as it is so different than working in the studio in university and just working on your own. It is amazing to see the dynamic of how a brand works, and to see a collection being made from the start to the finish, all the way to what it's like for it to be sold in the store. Third year is definitely the hardest year. It is definitely the year that is loved and feared the most. It is where you spend the whole year creating a collection that represents yourself, that speaks to you, that is something that you want to say. It's where you put all of the knowledge that you've learned, all of the machinery, all of the techniques, anything you want to explore. It is where you kind of show all of that off. For our university, we were lucky that we were given a chance to go to Paris to get our fabric. I think you have to definitely be prepared to spend quite a bit of money, extra money on your collection that is out of your own pocket, as the university doesn't pay for any of that. So definitely be prepared to do that. It was definitely a hard year. It was blood, sweat, and tears to make my collection, but it was extremely rewarding, and it was amazing to see my vision come to life, and to make a collection from start to finish. So after university, I landed an internship at Saint Laurent, and I stayed there for about 7 months as a press intern for Southeast Asia. So that was kind of my journey from school all the way to a little bit after university. I kind of hope that helps anybody who's deciding to do a design-related degree or fashion degree. I definitely think that you should love fashion before you do it, because it's a lot of hard work. And also research which part of fashion you're interested in. Is it design? Is it marketing? Is it styling? Because there are quite a lot of pathways that you can go into, and you try to definitely be open to the different pathways. I would also research your universities and be open to different universities as they may offer different types of courses. I would definitely research how flexible the course is. And definitely to do as many internships as possible. I think that it gives you such a good insight on how a brand functions. I wish you all the best with your future university life and your careers, and please message me if you have any questions. I would love to answer them. Bye.